Doctor, can you describe glutathione and what its role is and what its role specifically is in chelation?
Glutathione is huge to your body and to chelation. Glutathione is the main antioxidant in the body. It is setting the redox tone in the body. That's the balance between